There is something about holding the keys to your first real purchase that changes you. I remember the day I drove my navy blue BMW 3 Series off the lot. The leather seats, still smelling new. The sunroof, letting in the Texas sunshine. 3 years. That is how long I worked 2 jobs to save $28,000 for that car. Every late-night bartending shift, every weekend I said no to friends, every meal prepped at home instead of eating out. It was not a gift. It was not borrowed money. It was mine, earned through sweat and sacrifice. I never imagined that showing it off to my family would be the beginning of the most painful lesson about boundaries I would ever learn. But that Sunday afternoon, everything changed when I walked into my parents' driveway and saw nothing where my car should have been. Before I tell you what happened next, I would love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below. If you have ever felt like your family took advantage of your hard work, hit that like button. You are not alone. And make sure to subscribe, because this story has a twist that involves my 72-year-old grandpa that you will not see coming. Now let me take you back to that moment when my world turned upside down. Let me start by explaining what that BMW meant to me. My name is Earl, and I am 28 years old. For 3 years I lived a double life. During the day I worked as a junior architect at a small firm in Austin, Texas. I spent hours hunched over blueprints, designing homes and commercial buildings, learning the trade. The pay was decent, but not enough to save for something like a car. So at night and on weekends, I bartended at a downtown bar. I served drinks until 2 in the morning, went home smelling like beer and cigarette smoke, slept 4 hours, then got up to do it all over again. I did not go out with friends. I did not take vacations. I ate meal prep for lunch and dinner, the same chicken and rice 5 days a week. Every dollar I made went into a savings account. $28,000. It took 3 years to save that amount. And 6 months ago, on a sunny Saturday morning in spring, I walked into the dealership and bought my dream car. Navy blue exterior, cream, leather interior, a sunroof I could open on clear nights. When I signed those papers and the salesman handed me the keys, I felt like I had arrived. I had earned something real. My family situation is complicated. I am the oldest child. My sister Jessica is 23, 4 years younger than me. She graduated from college last year with a marketing degree and has been living at home ever since, looking for work but not in any rush. My parents, Frank and Dorothy, have always treated us differently. Dad is a retired mechanic, a quiet man who lets Mom make most of the decisions. Mom is a housewife who has run our household with an iron fist wrapped in casseroles and guilt trips. They always saw me as the strong one, the independent one, the one who did not need much attention. Jessica, on the other hand, was the baby, the one who needed to be protected and coddled. I love my sister. I do. But I have watched her get away with things. I never could watch my parents hand her opportunities while expecting me to make my own way. Then there is Grandpa Walter. He is my dad's father, 72 years old, a Vietnam veteran who has lived alone since my grandmother passed away 5 years ago. Grandpa is the only person in my family who has ever really seen me. He is tough, fair, and does not believe in coddling anyone. He taught me about hard work, about setting boundaries, about standing up for yourself even when it is uncomfortable. He has been my anchor. That Sunday morning I woke up early with a plan to visit my parents. I picked up bagels and coffee on the way, thinking we could have a nice breakfast together. I drove my BMW the 20 minutes from my apartment to their house in the suburbs, feeling good about life. When I pulled up, I parked on the street in front of their house and walked inside carrying the food. The moment I stepped through the door, something felt off. Mom was too cheerful, bustling around the kitchen with a smile that seemed forced. Jessica was not home, which was strange because she usually slept until noon on Sundays. Dad sat in his recliner reading the newspaper, but he would not make eye contact with me. "Where is Jessica?" I asked, setting the bagels on the kitchen counter. "Oh, she went out," Mom said, vaguely waving her hand. I thought nothing of it at first. We sat down, had coffee made, small talk. About an hour later, I remembered I had left my phone charger in the car. I excused myself and walked outside. That is when my heart dropped into my stomach. My car was gone. The spot where I had parked it was empty. I stood there for a moment, my brain trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Had someone stolen it? In broad daylight. In front of my parents' house, I ran back inside, panic rising in my chest. Mom, Dad, my car. Someone stole my car. Mom looked up from where she was wiping down the counter. She did not look alarmed. Oh, honey, calm down. Your car is not stolen. What do you mean? Where is it? She dried her hands on a dish towel, her voice maddeningly casual. Jessica borrowed it. She has a job interview downtown. I stared at her. Borrowed, Mom, she did not ask me. Well, you were not here, and she needed it urgently. My mind raced. You gave her my keys. From where I have the spare key you left here last month, remember, I did remember. I had left a spare key at their house in case of emergency, trusting that they would only use it if something serious happened. I never imagined they would hand it over to my sister like it was a community vehicle. Mom, that is my car. You cannot just give it to Jessica without asking me. She sighed like I was being unreasonable. Oh, Earl, do not be so selfish. She is your sister. It is just for a few hours. It is not about being selfish. My voice was rising now. It is about respect. That is my property. I worked 3 years to buy that car, Dad finally spoke up from his chair. Son, she will bring it back. No harm done. No harm done. Those words echoed in my head. They genuinely did not understand why I was upset. To them it was just a car. They could not see that it represented years of sacrifice, that it was the first major thing I had ever owned outright. I felt invisible, like my feelings did not matter. I sat down on the couch, my hands shaking. All I could do was wait for Jessica to return. As I sat there, a memory surfaced. When I protested, she said I was too old for video games anyway. The year before that, she had taken a vintage watch my grandfather had given me and lent it to a cousin for a wedding. It came back scratched. Each time I had let it go, telling myself it was not worth the fight. But this was different. This was my car. 3 hours passed. 3 hours of me sitting in that living room unable to leave because I had no transportation. I watched the clock, my anxiety building with each passing minute. Finally, I heard the sound of an engine outside. I jumped up and looked through the window. There was my BMW pulling into the driveway at an awkward angle. And there in the driver's seat was Jessica. I walked outside as she stepped out of the car. She looked fresh and happy, her interview apparently having gone well. Hey, Earl, I did not know you were here. She tossed my keys onto the hood of the car carelessly. Thanks for the car, it drives like a dream. I walked around to the front of the car and felt my blood run cold. There was a scratch on the front bumper, a thin but noticeable line that had not been there this morning. Jessica, you scratched it. She glanced at the bumper and shrugged. Oh, that. It was already there. No, it was not. I check my car every single day. That scratch is new. Her face hardened. It is just a tiny scratch, Earl. Do not be so dramatic. You did not even ask me. You just took it. Mom said it was fine. I turned to face my mother, who had followed us outside. Mom, did you tell her it was fine to take my car? Earl, you are making a mountain out of a molehill. A molehill. She scratched my car. And more importantly, no one asked my permission. Jessica crossed her arms. Oh my God, Earl. It is just a car. I needed it for an important interview. What was I supposed to do? Take the bus, yes, or Uber? Or you could have called me and asked. You would have said yes anyway. That is not the point. The point is you should have asked. We all went back inside, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Mom insisted we sit down for lunch, like eating together would somehow smooth over what had just happened. I did not have an appetite, but I sat at the table anyway, determined to make my family understand how I felt. This is not just about the car, I said, trying to keep my voice level. It is about respect. I worked 2 jobs for 3 years to buy that car. It means something to me. You cannot just give it away without asking. Jessica rolled her eyes. Give it away, Earl. I borrowed it for 3 hours. You are acting like I stole it. You have always been like this, selfish with your stuff. The word hit me like a slap. Selfish, I'm selfish. Dad cleared his throat. Jessica, that is enough. But then he turned to me. But, son, she does have a point. Family should share. Share, Dad? Did I ever say she could not borrow it? The problem is, no one asked me. Mom set her fork down with a sharp click. Earl, you are being disrespectful. We are your parents. We made a judgment call. Jessica needed the car for an important interview. What were we supposed to do? Call me. Text me, ask me. You would have said yes anyway. That is not the point. The point is you should have asked. We went in circles like that for 20 minutes. My parents insisted I was overreacting. Jessica sat there with a smug expression, clearly satisfied that they were taking her side. I felt like I was in an alternate reality where property rights did not exist, where boundaries were seen as selfishness. The more I tried to explain, the more they dismissed me. It was like talking to a wall. Finally, I stood up. I need to leave. This conversation is going nowhere. I grabbed my keys from where Jessica had left them on the counter. Wait, Earl. Mom's voice stopped me. Since you are here, we need to talk about something. I turned around slowly. What now? She exchanged a glance with Dad before continuing. Jessica's interview went really well. She might get the job. That is great, I said flatly, not understanding where this was going. The job is downtown. She will need a car to commute. My stomach started to tighten. Okay, so she can buy her own car, or use the bus, or carpool. Mom took a breath. Earl, you know she does not have money saved up yet. I could feel what was coming, but I could not believe they would actually say it. My heart started pounding. Dad spoke up. Your mother and I have been talking. We think it would be good if Jessica could use your car for a while. The room started spinning. Use my car? For how long? Just until she saves up for her own. Maybe 6 months to a year. I exploded. Are you kidding me? You want me to give Jessica my car for a year? The car I worked 3 years to buy? We are not saying give, Earl. Just let her borrow it, Dad said. You live close to your work, Mom added. You can bike or take the bus. Jessica needs it more than you do right now. She needs it. What about what I need? Jessica stood up. See, I told you he would be selfish about it. I turned on her. Do not you dare call me selfish, Jessica. You have never worked a day as hard as I have. Everything has been handed to you, Earl. Mom shouted. Do not talk to your sister like that. It was the final straw. They had not only taken my car without permission, not only dismissed my feelings, but now they expected me to hand it over for a year.